This episode of WDW Today is being sponsored by TouringPlans.com. And hey, you're planning that perfect trip to Walt Disney World. You want to have everything right? So you've got your hotel booked, you've got your tickets purchased, you've got everything you think you're ready to go. You've read the reviews, you've got everything. But you know what you really need? Is those last tools to make sure you're not waiting in line all the time. Just because you're going to Walt Disney World doesn't mean you have to wait in long lines for all the popular attractions. In fact, you don't have to wait at all. In most cases, just short waits. The answer to all this? TouringPlans.com. They've got resources for you to help you plan that perfect trip and see every single attraction you want to do without having those long lines. It's true. Try them out. Go to www.touringplans.com.
Bringing the world to your world, this is Walt Disney World Today. Here are Mike Scopa, Len Testa, Mike Newell, and your host, Matt Hochberg.
It's Monday, February 28th, 2011, and this is episode 844 of WDW Today. I'm Matt Hochberg of StudioCentral.com. Joining me on today's show is Mike Scopa, a senior feature writer and blogger for alleears.net. Welcome, Mike.
I'm not your mother. Break those plates.
Wow.
Toy Story Midway Mania.
That's correct.
That's I believe that's Sarge saying that as well. Also on today's show is Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. And it's February 28th, Mike. I don't think this is a leap year this year. If people are born on the 29th, what do? They just pretend their birthday's on the 28th?
No, I thought you only have one birthday every 4 years or so.
No. It's good to be their friend. You'll have to give them a gift every couple of years. On today's show, we're going to be answering some of your questions about FastPass, because certainly, lots of people always have questions about it, and something we thought we would kind of dive into some of our questions that our listeners have submitted about the FastPass system. And let's start with an email from Gerald from Palmyra, Pennsylvania. Gerald writes, I was taking great advantage of the FastPass system, so much so that by the end of the week, I had a stack of unused FastPasses. I would like the passes to be put to use each day. On my way out of the park, I'll attempt to give them, usually a group of 4, away. But one of these things will happen. 1, they guess we'll see the time has expired and won't take them. I guess the joke is on them. 2, they look at me like I'm trying to sell them Coastline in Nebraska. 3, they will yell at me for wasting them. 4, they turn out to be cast members and apparently have no need for them. I'm not trying to sell them. I'm just trying to give them away. Only once I've successfully been able to give away fast passes. A family was on the railroad and specifically mentioned waiting to get to Peter Pan. I had 4 extra Peter Pan fast passes. So guys, why are these things so difficult to give away? Have you ever tried? So guys, have you, I know, Mike Newell, I have a story that I can think of right off the bat.
I know where you're going with that.
You remember the media event for Toy Story Midway Mania? Do you remember that, Mike?
Yep.
Disney had this thing, this was during I believe this was Year Million Dreams, right?
Yeah, we were able, they gave us the opportunity to dream a family of 4 to ride Toy Story Mania before it had opened to the public. So we were able to ride it because we were doing a media preview, but we were able to give whoever we wanted 4 tickets, and the idea was to find a family of 4 and let them ride it, a really, really sneak preview before the major opening. So Matt had trouble giving away these tickets.
Yeah, first you got to find, the family of 4, and then you look around for that, and then you find someone, and it's just like Gerald said, people look at you like it's a scam. Like a lot of people, right. I remember the family we actually did give them to were like, they were waiting for us to be like, all you have to do is sit through a timeshare presentation or something like that. No one would believe that we wanted to give away something for free that actually has intrinsic value to it. People just look at you like they're like, no, go away from me, weirdo.
Part of the problem we had too is that the construction walls were still up around Pixar Place. So we're like, go in through that door that's in this construction wall, and there's a cast member there, and they'll let you go in, and they're like, what? I'm not.
Well, not only that, Mike. You have to. Most of these are average park guests who have no idea what's even going on over there. It's not like you or me who pays attention on the internet that was going on Toy Story. So, that's definitely, they had no idea it existed. So it's like, there's this ride that isn't open that you don't know about, but it sounds like it sounds bad.
And we weren't real cast members or anything. So, to get 3 or 4 free tickets to a ride that's not open yet from 2 guys who just happened to be wandering around the park, it's like we were in the bushes going, psst, hey, buddy, You want some tickets to a ride that doesn't exist
Talking
yet?
to me?
Yeah.
Are you talking to me?
So I mean, I think
and we were trying to, and we had recording equipment out, so not.
yeah. And I think
What
Matt,
about you?
Matt, correct me if I'm wrong. We went through two families that both rejected us, and the third family is the one that actually took us up on it.
Yeah, but they weren't even that. They were still weary about the whole process. We saw them later on, remember?
Yeah.
And they were like, "Dude, it was awesome. Thank you so much." But
at first they were like, "Yeah, that's great. Yeah,
let me get the phone out and have 911 ready to call immediately. You know, just I'll have to just push one button.
They're like, thanks. Like, all right. And we had ridden it all day, so we were trying to explain how awesome it was. Like, yeah, you're gonna love it. It's great. No one else has been on it before. Blah blah blah. And they're like, yeah, that sounds great. We couldn't sell it.
What about you, Scopa? Have you ever had an issue trying to give away fast passes?
Trying to remember, Matt. If I think I've been on the receiving end more on the giving end, but I've been very careful, knowing how people are very cynical, and I'll just walk up to, and I try to pick families that have children, because I think that it's a lot easier to sell it when you have a family with young children. And, I'll walk up and I'll say, look, I have these fast passes to such and such. I can't use them. Would you like to have them? And I think that you're right. I think that there's something about, there's cynicism when anyone offers something free to someone. They think that, oh, am I going to have to, buy a subscription to a magazine or something? It's very hard, but I'm very careful. And I think that the best target would be like teenagers or a family with young children. I think that's the best target to get rid of fast passes.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Our next question comes from Chris. Right, hey guys, great show. I've been listening for the past few months to plan our trip starting in June. What I'd like to know is if there's some kind of fast pass chart or information that you gathered that show the return time is based on the fast pass return time is based on the time you get a fast pass to plan a day for the Magic Kingdom, along with, say, your regular old touring plan. This being on a crowded 6 or 7 day. For example, at 9:10 a.m., you get a fast pass for Space Mountain. What is the return time? 9:35 maybe. Then go to the plan and go to the next fast pass, ride Buzz, Astro Orbiter, and maybe the next fast pass return time might not be until 10:30. So have you guys found any information online that would indicate as to an example of where you could reasonably expect to get for fast pass return times at attractions? I guess I can use the lines information from touringplans.com for the days prior to our day in the Magic Kingdom and kind of chart it out based on that. But I was wondering if there's anything that you've run into or know about in terms of trying to figure out when my fast pass return times will be.
Well, the first thing is that every day is going to be different. You've got crowd levels will make that different. You've got weather that could make a big difference. It's hard to predict, and I don't know if there's anything online, and I'm not sure if Lines will do that for you either. I think that if Lines would do it, it would be historical information, which may or may not be as accurate as you would like it to be.
Yeah. Well, keep in mind also, when you get a fast pass, even if it's the busiest day of the year and it's your return time is like 4, 5, 6 hours from now, you are guaranteed at the very worst to be able to get another fast pass 2 hours after you get your first fast pass. Now the return time may be far out, but you'll at least be able to know that if you're trying to plan out your day and you say, okay, I'm going to get a fast pass at 9 a.m. And certainly, and then you can, kind of figure out based on that what the worst case scenarios will always be. Mike, what's one thing that when we're talking about like the easiest time to figure out, I think is probably gonna be that first fast pass of the day, the one that you get before like 10 o'clock, like 9 a.m. to like maybe 9:30. I mean, what return times have you seen for those kind of fast passes?
Well, it depends. Like you said, it depends on the attraction. I mean, Soarin', you're probably gonna get a return somewhere around 11, 12 if you do early in the morning, and Toy Story Mania could go into the early afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen the best case scenario I've ever seen is if you get there for park opening, you go right to the fast pass, to an attraction. The fast pass machine will be like so you're there basically around 9. The first fast pass return times are somewhere in the ballpark of like 9:30, 10 o'clock. Mm-hmm. And it can vary wildly, but
right.
If you're talking aside from Soarin' and Toy Story Mania, whose fast pass return times are always just out there, take those two out of there as outliers. really other attractions return time, especially that early first part of the morning, aren't going to be that bad. I mean, you're looking at probably at 9 a.m. I mean, probably about an hour at most.
I was going to say 10:30 at the least. At the most, like Space Mountain, some of the major ones.
Yep. Another question is from. Actually, this is an interesting idea. It's from one of our listeners, John, who says,
"Hi, John.
There is a way to get fast passes in the Magic Kingdom without using the ticket media for entry. If it's the day of a hard ticket event and you enter the park with your annual pass or a regular pass, like you get there in the morning, then both passes, your annual pass, Magic Airway ticket, and the hard ticket, will work for fast passes all day. I assume it's coded that way because you've used your pass to get in and don't have to make your card in for the event. I've used this trick multiple times over the years."
Let's try that.
So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I'll have to try that one out. There was one actually not too long ago. It's been fixed, but I remember a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month or two ago, Len had mentioned that he had found that in the Tower of Terror, for whatever reason, you could put like anything in there and you get a fast pass. You could put your park ticket in there, get a fast pass out. Then you could take like your Tables in Wonderland card, put that in there, you get a fast pass out. You could put your room key card, put that in there and get a fast pass out. And evidently, like for whatever reason, there was an issue where it was down, but that's been fixed since then. But this one's a good idea. So if you're going to the Magic Kingdom on a hard ticket party night,
that's
not
funny.
A bad day to use that.
When fast passes first came out, there used to be on the back of each machine there was a soft button that you could press. It was intended for the cast members to press the button so that you can get if there was a problem with the room key or the room ticket, the park ticket, they could press a button and it would spit out.
Right.
We were using that for quite a long time until they, I guess everybody abused it, including us, and they actually put a key in the back there where the button used to be. So they need a key now in order to, to send a ticket out. But it was a nice run while it lasted.
Yeah, absolutely. Last email, or last question actually, is from Billy, who writes, I just stumbled upon this article the other day and it intrigued me. It's an article about Disney saying that they'll be able to reserve ride times from home. This article came out earlier this month. And Billy writes, I'm very excited that Disney is investing a fair bit of money into eliminating annoying slowdowns in lines. To be honest, I get a little grumpy when I have to stand in line too long. But I have a fear that the spontaneity I enjoy in my Disney vacation will be lost in the latest edition. ADRs are the only thing which really hold me down in a park right now, and those are easily broken if there's an event I want to see. Can you imagine what Toy Story Midway Mania will be like if fast passes are claimed before even the park opens? Maybe I'm being a Debbie Downer, but I hope this doesn't destroy my chances of having a free-spirited vacation. What do you think of it, Scopa?
I just think it's a bad idea because I think that what will happen is that I think that it will. I have to assume that with this is using the fast pass distribution system. So will this type of action prematurely empty the fast pass supply? Will it impact it so that we know now that Toy Story Midway Mania is usually finished with fast passes by noon on an average day? Does this mean that those fast passes will not be available past 10 o'clock? I think that's a problem. I think another problem is that very much like when people make ADRs, which dictate how they're going to tour Disney World, if you have an opportunity to do fast passes and let's say you happen to go to a certain park where you have all the fast passes, and you say, I want to go to this other park today, so I'm not going to use the fast passes. Well, number one, you've wasted time, and you may have wasted other people's times because they can't get fast passes because you've used up the supply. So I don't know if this is a good idea. I really don't.
Yeah, I'm with you, Mike, on this. Newell and I were talking about this the other day, and the problem I have with it is, like you just mentioned, Mike, the fast passes that you can reserve at home are going to take away from the capacity somewhere, because rides have a certain set capacity. You can't add more people per hour. Rides are that's an inherent limit. They can only service so many people per hour, and so that means that if you're taking these fast passes from home, either it's going to affect the fast pass supply, the in-park fast pass supply, like you just mentioned, Mike, or it's going to affect the standby line, meaning like they would have like a 3-ticket kind of system almost. And regardless, the point is that the in-park experience is going to be taking a hit one way or the other, right? It's either there's going to be less fast passes in the park to get, or there's going to be longer standby lines than they already are. Right. And I just don't see that as a benefit because, I was telling Mike Newell about this the other day. I was like, most guests still don't even know how to use regular fast pass, and we're going to expect them that they're going to be able to book these things in the from home and do that. I just don't see this happening. And like you mentioned, I think our listener mentioned, there's the death of spontaneity. It's not as funny because now it's like, you're married to these park plans more so than ever, and it kind of takes away from it. And I think but more than anything, the in-park experience really is what bothers me the most. What's your opinion on this, Noel?
I kind of side with Mike on this. I think it's, well, if it depends on how it's done. But if like the listener said, if how's that going to affect like Toy Story Mania? Are they all going to be gone by the time even Road Drop comes along?
Yeah, I mean, if they offered fast pass attractions, nobody gets fast passes anymore. Like Stitch's Great Escape, Voyage of the Little Mermaid, and Mission Space, right?
Right.
If they said, okay, we're going to offer fast passes for these, fine. I could not care less because no one gets fast passes for those rides anyway. And if they want to get people to get them and give that perception of of a service being rendered, great. Makes Disney happy, makes the guests happy. Then everybody's happy, and it really, let's be honest, it's not going to affect crowds that much because those attractions really don't take that much of a hit. But if they're going to be starting to affect the really big attractions like Soarin' and Toy Story Midway Mania and Space Mountain and Splashman, rides that already have Expedition Everest, that already have really long lines, and now that means that we're going to have even longer lines because, again, you can only service so many people per hour, so There's a hit somewhere. That's not a perfect solution either, and I would be upset with that. Now, in all fairness, Disney has the system, while announced officially, hasn't been all the details aren't out there. So we don't know yet. But I think there's way too many. It seems like, at least at this point, there's a lot of negatives to this, and I'm not too keen on it. At least at this point.
We have to wait and see how they.
Yeah, exactly. Good. Well, let's wrap this show up with a. Have any of you guys discovered any recently speaking, any fast pass strategies that have come to mind? Something that you guys have noticed over the you're touring in the parks the past couple, maybe year or two, that you say that's not a bad idea in terms of using fast pass to your advantage. I will say actually something interesting. First of all, a lot of the attractions in the studios don't actually use fast pass anymore, even though they're listed. Like Indiana Jones Epic Silent Spectacular, Lights, Motors, Action, even Voyage of the Little Mermaid really doesn't use it anymore. They are listed as fast pass attractions. But like Indiana Jones and Lights, Motors, Action haven't used fast passes in years, literally years. So if you're planning it, keep that in mind. Go ahead, Mike.
Here's a strategy. So you go into the studios. It's about 9 o'clock, maybe 10 o'clock, and you go up and get fast passes for Toy Story Mania. Put them in your pocket. Come back about 4 o'clock and ride Toy Story Mania. The advantage of doing it that way is that the fast pass line is not going to be long at all. You're going to go walk right on. If you use the fast pass times that they give you, you're going to be stuck in a line anyways. So why not just wait until late in the day when you know that you're going to be able to get on the ride, because the cast members are going to say, oh well, it was before, but we're going to honor it, because they usually honor the fast pass times beyond the fast pass. You just can't get on an attraction before the fast pass time. But my thought is that I don't want the reason why I'm using a fast pass is so that I can bypass the standby, so I can get on the attraction without waiting. So if I wait till later in the afternoon on specific rides, which I know are going to run out of fast passes, like Toy Story Mania, I'm going to get on the ride much faster.
Very good. Well, let's do it first today. Don't forget, if fast passes aren't an option for you, look, the lines for rides like Soarin' and Everest, which you just mentioned, are really long anyway. And even if you get a fast pass, you might want to say, I want to ride it again, or I'll be able to ride the standby line and get a fast pass for it. Well, there's a great solution for you, and that's going to be the touring plans over at touringplans.com. They're our sponsor for today's episode, and they've got the great resource for you to help you plan that perfect day so that you can go and ride everything you'd like to. They've got fast passes for almost every scenario you can think of. It's not just like a fast pass. They have touring plans for any scenario that you can imagine. It's not just a touring plan for just like one day at the Magic Kingdom. No, they've got touring plans for really an ungodly amount of scenarios you could think of. Anything you can really think of, they've got a touring plan for it. Check them out at www.touringplans.com. If you want to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, you can visit us online at wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, and Mike Newell, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.
Stupid Judy, stupid energy.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.